Hello, fellow leggers. You're joining us once again for an Anybody Have a Map?
Thank you for being here.
I don't know what episode this is.
See you. I don't know what episode this is
Is it
actually.
14, 15?
Something like that.
I don't know.
I mean,
check
we're well
the
into
number.
double figures right now. It feels like, I feel like the production values you're getting on this are like a J.J. Abrams film. He loves a bit of lens flare.
Because of the lights.
Because of the lights,
Absolutely.
basically. But you know what? We're here, and we try to do these regularly. But
We do try.
We try.
To have a conversation with you because there's some interesting stuff going on in the world of theatre and we've got some views and more than that we love to hear your views.
Yes.
So please comment down below on anything we're talking about as you watch this video.
Yeah, we love to read them and we'd love to read some of them out. We're going to be doing some of that today. We've been to the theatre.
We have.
Quelle surprise.
Do we want to talk about that theatre experience now?
Well, do you know what?
I feel as if we've broken records.
I hate having to talk about theatre etiquette now. Like, I just want it to be better, and I don't think that we should dwell on it, but it's gone to a new level for me.
Last night wasn't a good thing. We went to see Back to the Future at the Manchester Opera House, and we spoke a little bit about our audience experience in that.
Yeah.
Which, seriously, we talk about this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Theatre etiquette is almost as big a thing as the show itself in terms of our experience of being in a theatre.
Yeah, I mean,
what's up with that?
It's theatre going is what you said there. It's an experience, and that experience can be ruined by other people. Hell is other people. We've been here before. But last night we went to see a musical, which is a straight musical. It's not a
straight
pantomime.
musical.
Well,
when is something not a straight musical?
It's not like a pantomime. What last night made me feel like was like we were seeing Rocky Horror.
It felt as if we're in pantomime.
It felt like,
and we have this. We say to each other, panto audience.
Yeah.
To kind of set ourselves up, lowering the standard of theatre etiquette.
Yeah, like our own sort of expectations of what that's going to be like. But I just couldn't believe last night where people are shouting back lines to the stage of, when the bad guy says to the good guy, "You're never going to succeed in anything, McFly," and then someone from the audience cries, "Yes, he is." What the, like,
and
what
was
even
like,
is
this was
that,
quite early
guys?
on, right? And this person was sat, I think, opposite and a few rows back from
Yes,
you. We were on the aisle
there.
and they're on the aisle. But that stopped. That individual stopped doing that. Why was that, Leg assignment?
Well, because I gave them evils, basically. So I mean, at one point it became so distracting, and also the fact that they were narrating the show to one another. So, like, there were points where she was
this actually happened.
This is a man, not making it
this
up.
Happened.
Where there was a couple, a guy and a girl. I'm assuming
here.
They were a couple. They seemed like a couple, and she would say to him, "Oh my God, this is where this happens," and oh, this is that. Oh my God, that's done so well, just like the film. Just but constantly. And I was just like, I could not concentrate. Do you know what? If you're the sort of person that can block that sort of stuff out and it not let it affect you, then I'm so happy for you. Like, I'm thrilled that you are that person. Yeah.
Some people just switch it off and focus on the stage.
But I can't do that. If things are going on outside, I need to be able to focus on what is happening, and I just could not do that. So part way through the show, I stopped watching the stage because, to be honest with you, I said in the review, I can only review 80% of what I saw in that show because some of it I just didn't see because I couldn't pay attention to it. And I had to physically turn around, stare at the guy and just go and just literally watch him watching the show to a point where I was just giving him daggers, like,
for a good, it felt like 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah. And eventually caught my eye and was like, yeah. And I was like, just carried on watching it. I mean, ultimate passive aggression, and I mean, to be fair, do what you know. Like, I am a master of passive aggression, and he was just like, and I was like,
and it stopped after that.
And it stopped after
There's still a bit of it muttering.
But not as much. And reacting to the show, laughing, like they were heartily laughing at the funny bits.
It's fine.
Which is brilliant. Like, I want that.
Enjoy the show.
As a director, that's your dream. You want them to be reacting, but appropriately. That's the thing. Let's change the subject, guys. But I mean, just a big shout out to the ushers and it didn't end there. There was filming throughout.
There was filming, people getting their cameras out and blatantly filming the show. Like, not even
watching
subtly.
it through their phone screen. And not at the end, not just the curtain calls, just at key moments.
Segments. whole numbers just being filmed at different pockets. What is that about? Where is the policing of that? But I think we kind of said this in the review. It's something about the caliber of the show. We don't get that at the Almeida.
Yeah.
There's certain venues you just don't get that.
A
National
non-theatre
Theatre, I don't think you get any of that.
Yeah.
The NT ushers would be on that stuff.
Yeah. The problem for me is if you don't police that with the non-theatre going audiences, yes, there is a certain amount of you can say I didn't know. Like there's a certain amount of, you know, you don't need to take responsibility if you don't know something. It's lack of education. It is up to theatres to educate those people so the next time they go, they know what the expectations are. We cannot be standing idly by, letting evil prosper because good men do nothing. We can't do
evil. That's what we're doing. It's evil. It's
I consider it to be
evil.
a personal evil.
A personal aggression. A personal attack.
Yeah, I do. Because it's my experience. I paid as much money as they have. I'm entitled to the experience I want. You go and I mean, guys, it's not rocket science. Sit down, shut up and clap. Done. I'm done. Anyway.
Should we get up? We just needed to get that
sorry,
off
got it. Thank God you were there for
this
that rant.
Our therapy.
I feel healed.
It does segue nicely because our last video was about illegal filming.
Okay.
Where we did talk about, you know, it's okay to film the bows.
Yeah.
And there's some interesting comments in relation to that. Some people saying that there are certain shows such as Six which encourage filming at the end, which is great. Got thumbs up for that. I think School of Rock was something that also encourages that, but last night
that's fine. Like if a production has taken the stance of that's how they want to do their publicity and it's at a certain point in the show, I am all for that. Dave Smith commented saying, given the power of social media, it's madness that producers and creators don't welcome an element of social media. Do you know what? I get that's fine, but there's also, it's got to be respectful.
Like if they're saying at the start, turn off your phone, then to not do that is a blatant fingers up against everybody around you and the production company, right?
People might behave better in a performance if they know that there is a chance that they're going to be able to get a picture or a film at the finale, so they don't think it's okay to do it at other times. It's like, I know I'm going to get my moment, so I'm going to wait for my moment.
You'd like to think that would be the case,
but Dave rightly says it's a bit like graffiti. One person gets their phone out and the ushers don't do anything about it. It signals to everybody else that that's okay. You know, and I said to you, can you go and challenge that person that's doing that? Can you lean over? Which you didn't do.
They were too far away. I would have interrupted a lot of
do you know
people.
what was... Yeah, but they were interrupting a lot of people.
No.
But you didn't lean over and say anything, right?
No, if they're in front of me, if they're close by, because there was someone in front of us who got their phone out, and they were within a distance where I could do something about that, jump straight on it, sorted it out. You've got to be careful sometimes.
No, you need to, for me, you need to limit the spread of that thing, because if you don't nip it in the bud, like I say, it's the next person. Forget coronavirus, guys. The real pandemic here is a lack of respect for other people. Yes. That's the pandemic.
That is the theatre pandemic at the moment. I think that is true.
It's a virus.
Theatre pandemic is poor theatre etiquette.
Absolutely.
I mean, what do you do? I'm interested, fellow leggers, in how you switched off or how much other stuff affects us. Is it just because we're aware of it and we're very aware of theatre etiquette that it seems to really bug us?
Are we still talking
maybe
about
if we weren't that bothered, maybe it wouldn't affect us so much. What do you do to switch off, fellow leggers? We'd love to know what you do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
My Alexa had a different stance, saying that they felt filming of the curtain call is wrong because it's rude. Even if they hated the show, they would still want to have the opportunity to applaud the cast at that point, which is difficult to do if you've got a phone in your hands.
Yes.
So it just becomes then, rude. I am, rather than paying my appreciation to the cast and to the company of a show, I am choosing again to think about myself here and my experience and my memories of it, and that is more important than the appreciation I've got to the cast. It's rude.
Oh, we're still talking about it.
We are still talking about it. And what we also talked about was, how do you feel about understudies? How do you feel about when someone is billed as a top headliner and then you don't get that person in the actual production? Andrew Price said there are times he possibly needs anger management counselling for understudy anxiety. There are some classic moments that have proved him wrong. Way back in the 80s, Andrew went to see Ellen Green in Little Shop of Horrors. I mean, what a dream. I was lucky enough to see Ellen Green in Betwixt, which was a tiny musical. I never thought in my life I'd get the chance to see her perform. But to see her perform as Audrey in Little Shop, I mean, iconic, right? To Andrew's dismay, the programme announced that some crummy understudy was going to be playing that role that afternoon. And she was Claire Moore.
Ooh.
His book, Christ on a Bike, she was stunning. And I've become a bit of a stalker of her ever since. Mm-hmm. Obviously, she popped up again as understudy to Sarah Brightman in Phantom and was totally outstanding. So it's those star moments. It's the Rhea Jones.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
it's the whoever went on as understudy for Martine McCutcheon in My Fair Lady, because she'd have been on all the time, right?
And there's been a lot of praise
Natalie,
for your, I can't remember who
Sheridan's
it was.
understudy in Funny Girl.
Yes.
Natalie Barnes going on, and then she got tour dates after that.
She did.
You know, there can be a Star is Born moment.
And the alternate for Dear Evan Hansen is getting a lot of praise and reward.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So there are times where it can work in your absolute favour, but we enjoyed reading so many of your comments about that. Thank you so much. And I love those little stories of where you'll get surprised or dismayed, to be honest with you, either or in those moments. We also, shall we save the breaker legs to the end? I'm just going to signpost it here. You've been in touch to talk about things that you're involved with.
Yes,
we love to know
your
about
breaker leg shout out.
Yeah.
We've got one later on.
Elaine Page doesn't do it anymore, so that's where we're stepping in, because clearly two Elaines right here.
So if you're involved in theatre and you want us to promote something, let us know. Stick it in the comment down below, and as long as we've got enough notice, we'll put it in. Anybody have a map to help.
And there's one of those coming up
it.
later, but if that's you, because we know a lot of you are involved in local theatre community productions.
Yeah.
Or even bigger stuff. I mean, there are people that watch this channel that actually professionally work.
We have a wide range.
We do.
Okay.
So thank you for that.
What are we talking about?
What we're talking about today, there was a bit of a Twitter storm recently, a stagey Twitter storm about one. I can't remember the name of the user, and it's probably unfair to call them out specifically, but someone suggested that if you can't, as a musical theatre performer, sight read music, you're doing yourself a disservice. And
and there was a big backlash from people in the industry, and I just wanted to add my 2 pence worth from my experience of this. And I know some of you may be professionals who are watching this, so you may be interested, maybe from an outsider's point of view, may be interested in this.
Well, we need to explain what sight reading is in case someone doesn't know.
Sight reading, sight singing is basically the technique or skill to be able to pick up a piece of sheet music and sing it, almost like an orchestra, how an orchestra works.
Knowing where the notes sit.
They just go into the orchestra and they pick up their instrument and they play straight away.
Yeah.
It's almost like Guitar Heroes, you just go based on what's in front of you. So in terms of the vocal skill of being able to sight sing or sight, all of that stuff, sight read, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
And this person put forward
an argument, a position, a point of view, an opinion.
That, you know, it's quite important for a professional nowadays, as an artist, as an actor, a musical theatre actor, to be able to sight sing. And there was a lot of hatred coming back against this individual, like a lot of hate, to the point here, I think whoever they were, she had to post a bit of a retraction, apologise for. I thought, oh my goodness, this turns out. But I actually think, controversial, this person wasn't wrong, and has an absolutely valid point. When I went to Mountain View, I did a 3-year musical theatre BA Honours degree course, and in the second year we had a whole module as part that spilled over, I think, over more than one term into 2 terms, in learning the skill of sight singing. We had to learn about music, being able to read music, being able to understand where it is in the stave and if it jumps up and down, how that affects the pitch. And then come the end of that term, part of the test or the assessment of that was to then be able to, you were given a piece of music, you had half an hour to kind of look at it. You could go to a piano or anything, but you had half an hour to kind of get familiar with the lyrics. It wasn't long, it was only a sheet. And then you'd go in front of a panel, there'd be a pianist there, they would play the backing to it, which have no melody, and then you would have to sing the melody as a test. So from an educational point of view, Mount View back then knew that this was an essential skill, and this is where it's a bit of a no-brainer. It's like a no-beep, Sherlock.
But there are no,
in terms of being attractive to potential employees. when you have a very limited rehearsal process to be able to learn that music with complex harmonies and phrasing as well. You want to say something? Come on in.
Well,
Simon.
I want to say, actually, can I put as a counter audience to that actually being able to attend drama school and to be given those skills and taught those techniques is actually a real privilege. There are so many ways into the industry now, and there are so many barriers to people getting in the industry, and the expense of being able to go on a 3-year degree and learn those things is a privilege. You're honoured to have done that. Certain other people haven't been afforded the opportunity, but it doesn't mean they don't have the ability.
Can we come back to that? Remind me that we come back to that, because there's something on MTS just recently, actually, because around now is the time where people find out whether they've made it or not into drama schools. And getting into a drama school, stage school, I've always said, is only the first hurdle. The next hurdle is paying for it. And if you don't secure the funding or the loans or anything else, depending on your privilege or class, then
the door can be closed in your face,
and it's
financially
really difficult. It makes the profession really elitist. So, but that's kind of a separate thing. However, you're absolutely right. You're paying, if you are paying for drama school, then you're paying to be
trained in that skill,
upskilled. You're training to come out of that 3-year education a better and more attractive employee to potential employers, directors and producers than when you started. So of course, having additional skills to your bow or additional strings is they also teach nowadays. There's a whole, I think, music element where you pick up an instrument, because they realize now that actually being a musician, it's not
attractive.
Triple threat is old now. There's musician is in there. Science singers out. Now I auditioned. I'll tell you this story then. I auditioned for Jerry Springer the Opera in its early days when it was auditioning for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. And I remember meeting the musical director, Martin Lowe, who's an absolute legend.
And a lovely
He's
guy.
Amazing. He was involved in, once he was musical director for...
Our Ladies of Perpetual Succor.
Our Ladies of Perpetual Succor. I mean, talk about amazing. He does big stuff. He's possibly the best musical director I've ever worked with. Anyway, I auditioned for him, got invited back. We went to this little venue, underground venue. I think it was like a disco, all sorts of places I've auditioned. It was me, Martin Lowe, I think there's, and the casting director, and there's another guy there called Andrew Bevis, or Bevan, I think it was, going to audition for this part. It was Chick with a Dick was the part. I think it was Tremont. And we get down there, they introduced us to this music, and we're kind of playing through, trying to stagger through getting this song correctly. But I struggled because it was the first time I'd seen it. Now, Andrew Bevan, who I was kind of opposite as we were auditioning for this part, he could sight sing. And I think Martin picked this up, and he was like, okay, Andrew, do you want to just carry on singing this phrase? And Andrew carried on singing this music that he'd only just been introduced to, but he was able to sight sing the
Basically,
whole
he
thing.
sang you out the room, right?
He sang me out the room.
Even though you could sight read that?
We could both sing. Well, no, he was able to carry on. I was able to. I couldn't sight read. I couldn't sight. I can't. I did the modular Mount View, but I was
and you passed the modular.
Familiar with music.
Okay. But not the experience he had.
I can't pick something up, and that's not what I can do.
Yeah.
But he could. He had it down as a skill. He nailed it. And he was able to carry on and sing all of this stuff. And as a result, no-brainer,
He got the job. Can I just say, though, you did cover him and go on in that part.
That was then for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Once they'd got the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, the National Theatre, Nicholas Heitner at the time, just started his artistic directorship at the National. And one of the first musical he wanted to put on was Jerry Springer the Opera. So then I auditioned again. Martin Lowe remembered me. I auditioned a number of times in front of the rest of the creatives, and then I got into the National. But I would have been involved earlier in the project.
Had you have got through that far,
I would have had that extra edge. So in terms of like this being offended, I guess you have a choice. No, you don't have to sight sing, and there's been many people who have got a job without having to sight sing. But if you're talking about having the edge, then how do you be better? If you're in a dance audition, The ones who go to weekly classes or even 3 or 4 classes at Pineapple Dance Studios, for example, if they keep those skills fresh, potentially are going to have the edge over those that don't.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Those who keep their skills fresh, whatever skills you have, the more sharper your tool, the more attractive you're going to be.
Yeah.
I don't get where the argument is, apart from this idea of, oh, it seems very like, oh, it's about me, or it's wounding, how can you say this? Or, it just doesn't work for me.
I think the ultimate thing is no one is saying that you should sight read, but nobody can deny having an extra level of skill and something in your repertoire, an extra weapon in your armour is only ever going to do you good. It's never going to undermine it, it's always going to amplify.
And I think another thing is learning never stops, whether you're in the industry or not. Just because you finish training,
yourself to sight
keep
read?
on. I think there's
need
probably
professional
apps where you can get on a piano and.
It's a barrier. If money is a barrier, can you teach yourself?
Well, it's difficult as well because I guess people
Never
have different degrees of learning capabilities. So I was dyslexic, for example.
You still are?
Learning, well, I'm thinking more at the time. So even learning the skill I struggled with, whereas other people seem to get it quicker because it's quite an academic thing, even though it's a practical skill. You come at it from an academic point of view. So I struggled with that. So I think some people may struggle to pick it up in terms of whatever learning styles and learning abilities they have. So it may not be for everyone, but that still doesn't excuse the fact that someone is judging you on face value on what you can give and what you can do in an audition room.
Well, that person basically they got cancelled almost. They had to take themselves off social media for a while just to
because of the hate.
Because of the hate from that comment. But I do think genuinely all they were really saying was, if two people are in the room, one of them has that, you all have exactly the same audition. If one of you has that extra skill and one of you doesn't have that extra skill, as a casting director, you may, or as a producer or director, you may be more inclined to go with the person that has it. That's all they were saying. And yet there was such hate. Not leg behaviour, not opening a conversation.
And is it then like a misunderstanding of the business? Because I think as in a profession, it is pretty cutthroat. It's a survival of the fittest.
Yeah,
absolutely. There's so many talented people year after year that leave drama school who are attractive, who are beautiful, who are skilled, who sound fantastic, who can dance fantastic.
The pool is wide.
And if you haven't got the edge, you're not going to make it. So what can you do to have the edge?
Yeah. And you also tell a story about another time where you auditioned for Les Mis and you were just expected to go and sing the heart. It's happened to you in multiple auditions where you having that extra skill set has helped you.
They said you just got to do your homework, people. And it's kind of... So it's almost like towards professionals, but I think this is life as well. You want to get ahead, people, do your homework.
Yeah.
For this Les Mis one, they suddenly just said, right, guys, we're going to do, at the end of the day, they didn't give us any music or anything. They just said, you should know this. If you know the harmonies, higher lines, you take the higher harmony lines. If not, okay, you're all going to be back at the back on this line, come forwards and this or that. And they directed it, and you just had to go. They didn't send us any sheet music in advance, and though it just weeded out the wheat from the chaff straight away. Those who cared about Les Mis, those who knew Les Mis and the music off by heart, who had passion for it, and those who didn't. Everyone in the room knew it. Yeah. Obviously, we knew that was the standard, and I think that's just the thing. That get rid of this fluffy stuff. Just be the best that you can be.
Yeah.
There's no second chances in life.
But what's your experience? Anyone out there?
I feel as if I've gone on a bit of a soapbox.
Do you know what you do, love? And this is something that you know about. You may as well share it with them.
And it's something I tell to industry professionals as well. I say, it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
Do everything if you need to stay up until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to learn those lines that you've been sent for the next day's audition, then you stay up, because then you will have the edge over someone who's got the sheet music in front of them or the script in front of them.
Yeah.
Learn the stuff. Know the stuff.
Application of learning. Thanks.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I also wanted to touch on another issue. Something that I'm seeing quite a lot of chat about is the value of a theatre membership. So you can join certain membership schemes, ATG card, it's one of them, for example, DMT Plus card. National Theatre have membership programs as well. Your opinion, and I suppose our opinion, on the value of those what are they? Those, I don't want to say, what's the word I'm looking for?
Don't know.
Schemes. That's it. Value of that scheme.
Okay. So what is
different things offer different things. So, for example, the ATG card offers maybe priority booking periods.
So when you say priority, does it mean that there's
tickets open to you before the
general public? Okay, so you can get like the better seats or the better places.
Usually the cheaper seats, because they're the ones that go first.
But you've got to pay a premium.
Correct. You need to pay a subscription or a one-off upfront cost to be able to access those.
Which is a lifetime or is annual?
No, it can be anything from
monthly?
a year. National, it's monthly. You can cancel at any time.
Okay.
ATG, DMT Plus, I believe, are annual subscriptions.
Right.
Other theatres and agencies and things, they all have their own way of doing it, but it's either an annual one-off, like annual fee, or a subscription fee thing.
Okay, so different things at different places.
Might also be a benefit that you don't have to pay a booking fee. So booking fees, for example, through ATG can be ridiculous. You can talk about £4 or £5 on top of your ticket price per ticket.
Okay.
So there's an extra tenner, 2 tickets, for example. They don't pay those anymore.
So although there might be an upfront cost, you could actually get that back if you use it.
I think for me, the answer would be, it depends how often you go to the theatre. If you're going to join one of those things up and maybe use it once or twice a year, you're not really going to get your money's worth, then don't do it. Work out how much the booking fees are, how much the annual subscription is, and how much you are likely to save based on maybe your past year's experience going to the theatre, to come up with a figure and see if that is worth, if that figure is more than the card, then absolutely go for it. What I think also, it depends on when you buy tickets. So for example, that's great if you're the sort of person that plans way ahead, that is going to be able to buy priority tickets and know that in 3, 6, 7 months time where you're going to be and when, and that's how you plan your schedule, then great. If not, and you're someone that maybe buys closer to the time on the day itself, then it's not going to be of a benefit to you. I like to use dynamic pricing in my strategy to purchase tickets. So dynamic pricing, for those of you that don't know, is the ability for a theatre to change the prices of its tickets depending on availability levels, much like a flight would. Like say if an airplane had less seats to sell, they would put the prices of those seats up. If they had more seats to sell, they would put the prices down. Hotels do it as well. If they've got lots of rooms available to sell, their room rates will be one rate. If there's a massive event going on in a local area and they know demand is really high and they've already sold a lot of rooms, they don't need to put their prices down or change their prices. They can afford to sit it out and wait. Theatres are exactly the same. But if a show isn't doing so great, and I do a lot of research, I start looking at the grids for shows about a week before I want to go and see when is it selling, when are the peaks and troughs, what's the likelihood of the prices changing, and then I might wait till the day of the performance to buy, because I've seen in previous days that week or a week or two before the price is changing. I will take a gamble and I will wait. But not all theatres operate dynamic pricing.
I think it also depends on dynamic. What have you coined there? Dynamic pricing?
It's not coinage, it's an industry standard. Dynamic, that's the term.
Dynamic.
Yeah, dynamic pricing.
And you take advantage of dynamic pricing?
Yes, wherever possible.
I think it very much depends on the person, because like you are a planner. Leg Simon is a planner, you're organised, you're thinking however far ahead.
Thank God one of us is.
Whereas I'm not, I'm impulsive, so I'm thinking, if you weren't taking charge of theatre, the way I'd end up going to theatre is I'd just end up wandering up to a box office or going to TKTS and buying tickets on the day. So I'm thinking in terms of the theatre membership, it suits the sort of person
that's a planner.
That is a planner who thinks ahead, who is, able to strategize in that way. So I think if that is you, this
sounds like a good
theatre membership seems to be a really good idea. Because otherwise, if someone like me, I'd end up getting it and just not using it because I've not planned that far ahead.
Yeah. Sometimes theatres do a membership scheme for younger people, so then things do really open up. The National Theatre, for example, have like an 18 to 25 or 16 to 25 scheme where certain tickets are only sold to people that hold that membership.
Yeah.
So you cannot access them in any other way. And the savings on those tickets are incredible. Like you could get great seats at the National from like 5 to 15 quid, where the general public will be paying somewhere between £20 and £80 a ticket, then it's worth it. But unfortunately, for some of us, that window is firmly closed now because we don't fall into that bracket anymore.
You could argue it's a bit ageist, right? Has someone done an equality analysis on this?
They're assuming that people are higher earners if they're older, but that is not the case, is it? I think that life doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It doesn't.
Or the young and the old.
Or the young and the old. Sometimes you can find yourself in financial difficulty, or you can just be older and your earning potential is less for so many reasons. Maybe you've got a family and you work part-time. Like, maybe there's other things going on in your life, then what's accessible to you? You're right, I don't think it's always fair. What I think it's doing is trying to take steps in the right direction with accessibility to theatre. Is it the right way to do it? Should it be more specifically means tested? I don't know what the infrastructure is there, guys. If it was someone's full-time job to someone that asked for a ticket and sort of working out what they could afford based on certain demographics, you're always going to have to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's more important that theatres put on a range of price bands, isn't that? I think that's the main thing.
Also, restricted view is something that I think a lot about. Is restricted view seats are always cheaper.
Mm-hmm. You get what you pay for.
But you get what you pay for. Is your theatre going experience, I think we've talked about this before, lessened by restricted view? Are we saying, yes, theatre is accessible to people on lower incomes, but they're not going to get... you're on a lower income, so you're going to have to suffer in your seat. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Is that in itself elitist?
Some people get it right. They'll do a lower price band, but it'll be like the front row, first, second rows, which then is good. Yeah. Because then you're still in like.
And the Jamie Lloyd Company do this very, very well because they'll put a range of seats in various different areas. Yeah. For a set fee for younger people and key workers, so people like nurses, doctors, policemen, fire brigade, prison service, civil service, to be, or very national service.
Jamie Lloyd Company then seemed to be very woke.
Woke. That's an interesting phrase about theatre.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for an upcoming episode of Anybody Have a Map, where we'll be talking about the effects and what people are thinking of how a woke culture is affecting theatre going. Woke being aware of things like gender neutrality, representation,
modern day views on theatre, not
the
legacy old.
Those things, because that's an upgrade. That's something we're seeing a lot of chatter about, is where the responsibility lies for how woke a theatre needs to be whilst putting on a
because there's still some people out there who are stuck in the past and are traditionalists and have issues with this woke approach.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that in an upcoming Anybody Have a Map. Not today. So what are your experiences of membership schemes? What are the good ones? Signpost below and help each other out as a community, guys. If something say, this always saves me money, I'm particularly interested about ones that apply to regional theatres, to be honest, because I tend to find that dynamic pricing and cheaper seats don't really happen in regional theatres. So how do we make that more affordable? What are the good schemes out there? Let us know, let each other know down below. Check out the comments, guys. We're taking on the role of Elaine Page right now.
Oh, we've got to break a leg.
We've got to break a leg from a fellow legger. It doesn't actually say in this comment who the fellow legger is.
I'll put it in the comments.
So put it on the screen. But that fellow legger will be playing the role of Joe Jeffson in Merrily We Roll Along at the Stanwix Theatre in Carlisle. It's running from the 25th to the 28th of March. They are in Team Sondheim and will be playing that role on the 25th and 27th of March, but they'll also be part of the ensemble for the other two performances. So it sounds like they're different teams.
Yeah.
I mean, they say it's such a fantastic show set over 2 decades between charts the turbulent relationship of friends Franklin, Charlie and Mary, starting in 1976 and travelling backwards in time. It's powerful, moving, optimistic.
It's one of your favourite musicals. Isn't it your favourite Sondheim?
No, it's my second favourite Sondheim.
Second favourite Sondheim.
What's my favourite Sondheim?
Your first favourite is Assassins.
Correct.
And your second favourite then is Merrily We Roll Along.
It is. I love the show, guys. It's a great piece. I mean, so ahead of its time in that backwards narrative at the time. It was a flop. There's a documentary about it, actually, because it was a massive Broadway flop. And it was really sad. But as with so much Sondheim, it's only come to be appreciated
matures
afterwards. It's great. So if you can head to the Stanwix Theatre website, we'll put a link
in
below
the
in the description to where you can get tickets. Go and see it if you're in the Carlisle area and support a fellow legger.
So go and support a fellow legger, and also break a leg, fellow legger. All the best for your run.
Have a fabulous time. Enjoy every moment, savour the performance, and give it your bloody all, which I'm sure that you will.
One last thing before we go then is the award ceremony, Breaker Leggers 2020. We've had some great ideas from you on our last comments where we asked about it. I think the consensus is that the idea is to get somewhere in London where we can basically hold an award ceremony.
Yes.
Maybe a bar, or maybe a theatre foyer.
A theatre foyer underneath a theatre bar, studio space, something like that.
Now, I've had a radical idea, fellow leggers. A radical idea that, you know, we can't take all of this stuff on ourselves.
Yes, we're only 2 people, we're busy.
We're only 2 people, and everything starts with 2 people, but then things get bigger. So I guess we're putting the feelers out to see if anyone out there, fellow leggers, would be interested in volunteering their services to be a potential events coordinator,
someone to help us. Or if any of you out there have got links to a venue in London that might be happy to support us, please let know. Some of you might work for a house somewhere. So can you get us some links? We need an in. So
we need someone to be able to pick that up for us. It might be you.
Send us a direct message. You do it on Twitter or something. Send us a DM and say, saw your video, I can help you get the awards off the ground. Willing to volunteer my time because there ain't no budget, fellow leggers. You know what ad revenue's like.
And we'll try and
get you on board.
Yeah, and we'll see where this goes, because you've got some really good ideas. Our strength is with you. We're a community together.
Yes, absolutely.
You're as passionate as we are, so let's make this happen.
Fantastic. So we just need to wrap it up, fellow leggers, and say thank you so much for being there for us, for being interested in what we do. Don't forget, we're on Instagram for some behind the scenes stuff. We had a great time in Manchester with some drinks with some fellow leggers.
We did. We caught up with some fellow leggers. It's so nice.
We've only got to know because of this channel.
And we've gone to dinner with fellow leggers as well. It's been really nice to actually meet you in person.
Really
so if you do see us in a theatre, we really do enjoy talking to you. It's not just about what we think. We enjoy having the discussion.
Yes.
And that's happened to us a number of times. Even when we were at the other palace the other day, it was really nice talking to somebody about being more chill.
Yes.
A fellow lecturer, so come and speak to us. Don't be shy.
Yeah, please don't be shy.
I think we're nice people. I think we're pretty welcoming.
I'm only angry if you get your phone out.
Because I've got a story about that. We're going to have to put it into our next video, I think,
don't forget
about why I think it's really important to be so welcoming to other people from my theatre background. But I'll save that for the next video.
Well, it's not what you know.
It's your reputation. You know them. It's just
what
being
people
kind
think about
people.
you.
Be a fellow legger.
Your personal brand is how people talk about you when you're out of the room.
Yes.
That's it. That becomes your legacy. So anyway, we'll talk about that another time.
Next time.
Guys, comment below as usual. We're the Breaker Leggers.
And we'll catch you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.